let's not kid ourselves that, oh, we're actually saving us time. Because I go back to the same thing. I was like, oh, well, let me go rewrite this. And I'm like, no, rewrite that email. No, rewrite that email. No, I don't like the tone of that. Rewrite that email. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, I could have just wrote the email and been done with it.
At zero risk that anyone thinks it's AI.
That's AI, yeah, and they definitely know it not be AI, considering how much grammatical inaccuracies that I have throughout the whole thing.
Starting to be a superpower.
Apparently, my dyslexia is finally paying off.
He's a real human. Welcome back to the Dataliction Podcast, where leaders learn how to grow their businesses on purpose by turning data into action and action into growth. In today's episode, Travis and I unpack a hard truth that businesses are not ready to hear. AI is not fixing your problems. It is exposing them. The speed of technology is increasing, but if your thinking, your processing, and your leadership are not aligned, all you are doing is accelerating dysfunction. This conversation is about slowing down just long enough to think clearly, plan intentionally, and build the right foundation before you try to scale it. And now, let's jump into the conversation.
You know, I really found this fascinating. You got right here, plans are worthless, but planning is everything, by Dwight D. Eisenhower. Man, do you sense that we're driving down a really bad road really, really fast with where businesses are trying to adopt AI?
I doubt that Eisenhower was talking about AI when he said this. Yeah, I'm conflicted right now, honestly. We've been doing this for a long time. I use AI all the time. We meet with businesses all the time that are and are not using it. I'm just conflicted right now, Travis. What I am seeing, though, is I would say I have more caution than I have excitement in a lot of ways that people are using or not using these tools. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited about it today. AI is speeding up bad business. Is that what we're going to call this one?
Speeding up bad business. Yeah. You're going down a road like a truck, just things flying out the back, and you're just like, you're missing potholes and everything like that. I mean,
wow.
You ever been in the back of a truck going down a gravel road that has tons of potholes?
Well, you were talking about, it's not always gravel roads. Sometimes it's just driving in Indiana.
Fair.
Although we just got rated like best roads in the country. Someone paid for that study. Back to the plans are worthless, but planning is everything. I think what Eisenhower is suggesting here is that the human exercise of thinking through things before you get into it, that is the purpose of the planning, not having the plan. Because Eisenhower and so many of these incredible people that helped build the country as we see today, you can have the greatest plan, but as soon as you actually get boots on the ground, that's obviously a war terminology, or even just like you get into the lab or you actually get on stage to perform, it's not going to be exactly what you planned. And so that is the gap between AI being used as a tool and leaning too heavily on it, because AI will come up with all of the plans. Yeah. And that's not the point of what we need to do. So, there's some.
Well, what do you think people are getting wrong about trying to use AI into their businesses today?
Well, firstly, I want to make sure we got a couple of these data points here. 78% of organizations are using AI in at least one function. So that's according to McKinsey's 2025 State of the AI report. 78%, 8 out of 10 are using it. And then based on just my experience, your experience, people that are using it correctly, people are using it dangerously. I'm concerned about that. There are two other data. I wrote an essay on this just here recently on these two sources. So it's The Illusion of Thinking, and that's by Apple. And then psychophantic chatbots cause delusional spiraling. You know I love that, Travis.
I think you just like saying that word. So,
well, yeah, of course. Yes, I didn't even know what that word was until I read it. But the
AI made it up.
Yes. here are the 2 points is that AI wants to make you happy, Travis, and we are very
Mhm.
easily made happy because what we actually need is often not what makes us happy, but what we need. And so that's probably the biggest gap right there is AI is incredible at making us happy. I mean, I use it all the time. Um, but I think that what I would say, one of the biggest gaps right now is people are asking, how do I use AI? Whole committees,
Mhm.
bless them, Travis, bless them. But they get a whole committee together to say, what AI should we use? Or how do we use AI? I mean, you've seen them. Um, to me, the better question is, what are the problems that we see in our business that we can potentially implement some sort of an AI solution? Or what are the opportunities that we're seeing in our business right now that if we put a little fuel on the fire, we can go faster instead of just like, hey, should we use Copilot because everyone's on Microsoft, or should we use Gemini because we're a G Suite? So that's my biggest caution right now is I think we're approaching this journey from the completely wrong trajectory.
Well, I think it's actually I would say we're pushing those in two different buckets. AI. I think there's a personal use
Mm.
in your application where you're using it for in your own application, and then I also think there is a silo for the business use.
I mean, when you say personal, do you mean you as an employer or you just as a person? Just
No, I'm going to just say you as an
oh yeah, that's
employee.
fine. That's what I figured. I just want to make sure.
And when we build these committees and when we build these situations, we're overlapping the two. And like from a personal case on how somebody uses it to enhance their own job,
Yeah, their own workflow.
their own
Yeah,
workflow, or maybe they're helping, craft new ideas and everything. But then it's like somebody in your office is like, oh, I'm using AI and I'm doing all these really cool things. Well, that's from a personal place.
Hmm.
Meaning, like, I use it to maybe help analyze an email or analyze a meeting, analyze a conversation that I'm having with a client, analyzing my sales, like understanding that. That's a very personal use.
It's like your own thought partner for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we've got that person that's screaming, I'm using AI all the time. I'm using AI all the time. And then the owner comes in and is like, whoa,
Yeah.
Jimmy over there is using AI all the time. We should probably put them on a committee. The problem is, Jimmy's never ran a business process in their life.
Yeah.
They're the new kid on the block. They just came in from college. They have a rough idea, and then they all of a sudden become the authority on how to run your business, how to
Yeah.
do your process. And you didn't even stop to ask, has this person ever lost $1 million or potentially had a business process go sideways on how to actually run the business?
It's really a cart before the horse sort of an environment. And we just get lost in the seeming magic of AI.
Exactly. And then we have all this, we have so much videos, so much AI slop that is coming out. Oh, I've automated this with my agents and I've done that. And they forget that there's two different ways to look at how to use an LLM. There is a spot in which you use it personally, and then there is a way that an organization has to use it to develop out the process,
Mm.
and they're getting it wrong.
Mm. What's your favorite way they're getting it wrong right now?
They're just what I was describing.
Yeah.
We're getting Jimmy in here and we're saying, and forgive me to all the Jimmys out there.
Yeah.
I'm fictitious Jimmy here.
Yeah.
That they're getting out in front of their skis per se. They're trying, the person who knows how to maybe build an agent or whatever, they don't understand the business process.
Mm.
So remember that, AI is great at knowledge. It's not great at wisdom.
Yeah.
And the business owner and the people who are in the executive team need to be able to take a stance to say, okay, just like what you just said, it needs to be able to solve a problem.
Yeah.
But we're not solving problems. We're just saying here's where I think that, and I'm guilty of this myself. I got really excited soon as I started asking AI a question. Oh, create for me, this new email campaign. Oh, create for me a new proposal.
Mm.
And I got that dopamine rush because I see it is creating content. But I never bothered to actually say, is this the right content that it's creating?
Yeah.
And so then we go from that mind shift of, I, as a person using AI, to now how do we use it as a company? That's a different way. That is a different problem that we're trying to solve. That's a process in which we need to systematically go through. And I really think this is to what Eisenhower might have been trying to allude to, and that we're adopting it to this new technological age, is that we can do all the planning like AI throwing out a whole, several pages and pages worth of documentation, but we're not necessarily saying, is that the right moves for our organization? Do we know the right people? Are our customers going to adapt on that? So on and so forth. And so, but where do you see it, John? Where do you see right now this process? I kind of threw out it's semi kind of a new concept, but it's not too
Yeah,
new.
the whole point of this podcast episode is around AI is not what fixes anything. And I fully believe that, especially if people are going to it saying, "Fix my business. What's the problem?" It literally has no idea. What it knows is that its user has an input that's concerned, and the goal of that chatbot is to make that concerned individual feel more confident. Of course, unless you tell it to make you feel bad, which you can control and say, "Only make me feel bad," and which is I've
Yeah.
seen people program that. I'm gonna give an example in my own life, in the kind of the creative space of the way I've tried to use AI, and I'm gonna apply it to the internet again. I love the example of the internet. So I remember the first time that I took one of my songs that I wrote and I put it into Suno. So Suno Studio, Suno, they've come up with a bunch of different algorithms. It's fun. It's fine. There is some magic to it. Certainly the first dopamine hit you get where I was like, that's my song. I wrote that. And like what it did is it made it this beautiful country artist and this whole thing. We've talked a lot about that. That was cool. Then now I've tried to really apply it. Actually take real structured songs of saying, I want this structure. I want this melody, this chord progression, this dynamics. It won't obey me. Okay. I know what it needs to do. I know when I was like trying to simulate a live concert environment and I said, remove all clapping. And so, cause it was like super clappy and I'm like, ugh, gross. I don't want my audience, quote unquote, clapping in this fake thing I'm making. For some reason, it thinks that when the bridge goes down, everyone's just like clapping. I was like, have you ever been in real life? The answer is no. AI has never put on flesh and bone, doesn't know how awkward it feels when this room of people would be clapping at that spot. It's a
Mhm.
very special moment in the song.
Mm.
Because AI is not a person. AI is not it doesn't have arms and legs and walks around in flesh and bones and blood pressure and sensitivity on their skin. Will it eventually get there once you and I are gone? I don't know, Travis, but is it here right now? No. So now let's go back to the internet and AI. The internet shows up. Everyone is in two camps. Oh, it's just a fad, or this is everything. And we're seeing the same thing with AI right now. Some of the biggest steps, I would think, in my opinion, are not necessarily the people who said, I'm going to wait on the internet thing. It's the people that said, e-commerce is all that matters now. Nobody wants to go to the store.
Hmm.
And if anything, Travis, we've seen customer service, human customer service, only become more valuable with the technological age. And I'm kind of okay with the chatbot, but generally, as soon as I get on there, I have already done all my research. I've already debugged things. I'm a techie. All I do when I get onto an AI chatbot that's trying to help me, I say, agent, human, connect me with a human. I want to talk to a human because I need that human judgment. If I'm going to err on two sides, I would err on people being systematic and cautious on their application of AI right now, not because it's not powerful, but because it is powerful. And if you just apply it, you're going to say, everybody should be e-commerce and we're going to only do, and then you're going to run yourself out of business because you're just going to break your business because your business is broken. AI doesn't fix it. It just makes it break faster. So and that's a long monologue. So thank you for listening. I wanted to make sure and kind of give that full like layout, but that's my perspective. And again, why I'm conflicted right now.
Yeah, it is strange to me that and here it reminds me of this one kind of study, and I don't have it in front of me, but I'm gonna have to think about where I got this from. It was that humans wanted to deal with humans because they felt like they could have a better, not necessarily response, but that they can be able to have more empathy and they could potentially get a better deal.
So, oh, that's interesting.
Because they would go through the chatbot and they're like, "Oh, it's very much very binary. It's this or that."
Well, yeah. So you
And
choose your
so
journey on a video game.
and but when talking with another human, it was like, "Oh, I could probably get a better deal," or they can understand where I'm coming from. And so then they might have a different way of pursuing the problem. I thought it was fascinating.
Well, it
So
cuts both ways. You have the salesperson selling to the salesperson. So like where they're like jousting, and it's like what's it called when you're doing the jousting?
fencing?
Yeah, fencing. But like
Yeah.
there's like a line you say when you're able to jab someone. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Clearly out of my league.
I've never
on this.
stabbed anybody, so I don't know.
That said, I love the idea of the human because you're connecting with a human, but then them to over assume, oh, I can get a better deal. And honestly, I've
Yeah.
chatted enough with enough people. They still are running systems, but it does make me feel better that I'm dealing with a person instead of a thing.
I have a little bit more empathy, or I can add a personal story to it that's potentially real.
Yeah.
And so on and so
I'm
forth.
also a little nicer to people than I am my robots.
I've seen the way you talk to your robots. Man,
They're not people.
So okay. So I'm really wondering, how do you see right now, where is it people are confusing really and this goes back to, we've talked about like development and everything. So, and like we're creating systems and everything, but they say, hey, we can build this, or is this where actually when we build something that can actually work?
The biggest question that I would say you need to ask before you pick out an AI, and I'm going to sidebar here. Yes, every single person in your company needs to be on a secure company AI, period, because of data leakage and just security. Your own clients are going to want to know, hey, all of the things you're doing and using, like, is it safe? Yes, you need to have everybody on one spot. That is not how do I use AI. That's just like security 101.
I've got locks on my doors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Makes sense. So that's my sidebar. Then it's like, how are we going to strategically use AI? This whole idea of where is the line between this employee found a great solution for them. Well, because it works for them, their personality, their workflow, how they communicate, how they read, all their own context. Do you just apply it to everybody? So before you ask that, it should never be can. The question must be should. And in terms of the should and the can, that's back to wisdom. You already said that. Should is a leadership perspective. And I love the way you put what were we calling him? Fictional Jimmy on blast, because fictional Jimmy has only ever been an employee, and maybe and probably a very good employee. They're wanting to figure out that balance of like their time, their attention, the money they're getting for their life, they're giving up to get a resource back for them to go on vacation, take care of their kids, send them to college, all that. Okay, great. What they're not trying to figure out is how to scale your business safely and quickly in a way that then they get to exit. They're not going to exit. So why are you letting fictional Jimmy make a practical, functional, operational decision inside of your organization that can dynamically impact your valuation down the road? Period.
That is a really good point.
And will fictional Jimmy have wisdom in that space? Yes, you have to listen to your people, but that can't be the authority. You as the leader or leaders, if you have an executive team, you know the business. You're probably the founder. You know what works and doesn't work with people. You know people better than fictional Jimmy does, who typically is going to be just on a computer.
You also remember your clients. I was working with a construction company, and they were walking through the database of CRM, and the owner was like, I have a relationship with this person, and this person. And they're asking, oh, should we extend some of the line of credit, so on and so forth. And the manager was like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." And this one guy he was the owner, he says, "No, we need to this guy right here, he'll pan out. Like,
Mm.
we need to extend this. This is gonna be good for our business." And sure enough, it actually turned out it was good for the business. Um, but if you just gave everybody a blank slate, "Hey, you make this decision," without leadership, the executive team, ownership really speaking into it, it's going to go off the rails and you're going to spin. But I'm curious, what really concerns you right now with, the state of businesses and where the mental state is for owners?
I think it's everyone is worried that AI will beat them. And so it's the if you can't beat them, join them. But we're talking about robots that are just simply programmed to make you feel better. Okay. And that's helpful for iteration and how you can actually use AI. We haven't, we're talking about like all the bad things and the good things. There's endless great things you can do. But there's also endless things that are really bad. And one of them is if you start having conversations or you throw in a spreadsheet and ask them to make you projections, and everything is highly optimistic. And I think we're going to get this. We've made up some agendas for these future episodes. We're going to be talking about how AI is lying to you. I'm excited about those. But one of the things that we have to understand is that people are making money on
Mhm.
this. Now, I do not mind people making money. Okay. I think that it's a helpful thing. It's a great motivator. It is not like if you make money on this, you can't be trusted. That's obviously not a true thing. I think you can make a lot of money and still be trusted. Your methodology and your openness on how things are
Mhm.
working is what we need to be cautious on. And then also we have to be cautious on our own insecurities
Hmm.
that then are coddled by these robots.
Do you think our insecurities are being magnified right now?
I think they are being exposed. I would say exposed. They're not making them bigger. So I think of a magnifying glass of like it's making it bigger. So this is why I want to be clear on this. If you do see your problem, it's not being magnified. That's how big the problem was, Travis. The issue is that you are just now seeing it. Um, in business, oftentimes the best things are the hardest things.
Help me
Okay,
understand that.
so you can't keep doing things the way you've been doing them to grow.
Mhm.
Now that can mean using AI. I know I'm talking out both sides of my mouth. I've told you I'm conflicted from the beginning of
Mhm.
this. But it's sometimes just in seeing AI and your team and the modern age and in-person, remote, regular meetings, not regular meetings, 30 minutes, 60, all of these things. Everything's on the table right now for how your business works, regardless of your technology tool.
Mhm.
The things that will make the most difference as you grow are going to be the edit.
Mhm.
What are those things that have been keeping your attention, your resources, um, in ways that make you feel good about your business, but do not actually help to solve these big problems or to really chase those opportunities. And when you just get this huge dopamine rush of hope because you ask this complicated question and it gives you this 3-point simple thing, I just have never seen that actually help any business, Travis.
Mm. So you kind of alluded to this, and I think there's this underlying tone. Is do you feel like we're kidding ourselves right now on that AI is actually speeding up our work?
That's a good question. Because I've asked myself, and I've actually tried to keep an eye on things. I'll give some practical examples of early tests that I did that we did. I like AI note takers a lot. They're helpful. I think Apple is getting ready to release like some sort of pin. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. AI note takers are cool. Prepping a draft for an email is cool. Prepping a draft for a presentation is cool. Um, I would say where I thought it was helping me, because all of a sudden it would just give me 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I first would send those out and not realize how bad they were and how canned they just totally sterile they felt. I don't do that anymore in case current clients are listening. That said, the amount of edits that then I had to go back and do. So so phase 1 was I just thought that it created it perfectly. Everyone does. We all think that.
That's right. We got
It's
that
the
first
magic
dopamine rush.
magic
That we're like,
wand.
oh, that's awesome. And I didn't read it and I just sent it.
4-hour work week. Is that what it is, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was for iteration 1. Then the second iteration was, I'll be the human in the loop. Okay. But then I'm like, wait, I'm literally spending the same amount of time editing the slop that the AI just made. And so here is one of the things that I've been trying is like, what is it that I do really well? And how can I translate what I do really well using AI? So we're on a podcast. I'm talking a whole bunch in this episode. One of the ways that I do think AI has helped me to go faster is I have a couple generalized like conversation templates. And what I mean by this is I'll say, hey, just transcribe this email for me. I'm going to say everything in the exact order that I want, the words I want, don't change a thing. Just add in some punctuations. I'll tell you when I want a bullet, when I want a number, if I want something bolded, I'll tell you what I want it to do. And so it's basically like I'm telling someone to just start typing something as I'm talking.
Yeah.
So am I a little faster now? A little faster now, Travis. A little. I'm pretty fast at typing too. So like the idea is like the balance between using a robot to transcribe an email versus just typing it up and getting out the door. Man, the delta is not that big right now. So I think we're fooling ourselves in how much time we think because it makes us feel so happy and magical.
Yeah, I think, and the reason why I asked that question, and you leaned into it just beautifully, was once again, there's 2 silos in how business organizes AI. One is the efficiency of the employee, and one is the actual efficiency of the process. And what I was alluding to, that if you confuse the 2, you're going to fail. And from my perspective, what we're seeing, you can have the perfectly planned out committee and so on and so forth. But once you get into the committee, everybody starts raising, this is how I use it. This is how I use it. But they forgot it's not about like when they're developing it, that's the business process, not the how as I as an employee, or if they're in that process or if they're in that meeting, they need to differentiate the 2 of how we're talking about this. And then let's not kid ourselves that, we're actually saving us time. Because I go back to the same thing. I was like, let me go rewrite this. And I'm like, no, rewrite that email. No, rewrite that email. No, I don't like the tone of that. Rewrite that email. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, I could have just wrote the email and been done with it.
At zero risk that anyone thinks it's AI.
That's AI. Yeah. And they definitely know it not be AI considering how much grammatical inaccuracies that I have throughout the whole thing.
Starting to be a superpower.
Apparently my dyslexia is finally paying off.
He's a real human.
But I think that we really have to make sure, if you're an owner thinking about when I say we need to implement AI, what bucket that they're really diving into and, where they're at. So, okay. So I know we talked a little bit about systems, but where, John, do you feel like that AI is making bad systems even worse?
Yeah. Back to the Eisenhower quote, the planning, not the plan. I don't care about a plan. I do care about the process of planning. And so when it comes to what is your process and why are you even trying to have AI fix it? What's actually happening? Because the problem is never the problem. And also, once a problem is big enough, it is the pile of many tiny problems that have been going on for a really long time. And so anytime we try to say one tool to fix one problem, we have gotten far too simplified in the nuance of the way humans work, real business works. And so again, I would say the uncomfortable things are what AI is helping us to avoid right now. And so if you do want AI to help you with iterations on the painful questions to ask, that's a great use of AI.
Mhm.
Okay. But never things that are telling your people they can get things done faster and like all the, well, who cares if they're doing it faster if that's not the thing they should be doing?
Mhm.
Like, why are they even doing it to begin with?
Yeah. Can they be more efficient?
Yeah.
One, I think that is really a key. And then two, is this on brand and keeping it consistent with what you brand? So I'm reminded of we were working with a client, we're developing out a huge application for them. And by the way, it's not just, when we do development, it's all about what is your business process.
Yeah.
So we have to do a quick, we have not even quick. I should remove quick from my vocabulary.
AI is cursed us.
Is you have to develop out, okay, what is actually your process? Because too many engineers fail at the very beginning on just giving the client what they want. And they never step back and ask, well, what is your process and is that efficiently working? Which then you said it uncovers a whole pile of other errors that are happening.
Yeah.
We were working with a client and one of the owners are looking over and they see this report that's being shared and they're like, where'd this report come from? And you're like, oh, this is what I give to the client. And he's like, oh my goodness, stop.
Yeah. Please stop doing
This is
that.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like, never give this. And he realized that moment that, oh, we can now have more consistency
Yeah.
with as we build with AI, as we build our process. And I think that is some really key moments that I will continue to preach right now is that most businesses thought, and this kind of goes around to AI, but most businesses always thought that they comply with the software that they've been given, but now software is now what helps the business. It complies to the business.
Yeah.
And that allows consistency. That allows better insights, and that also allows better freedom within staff because now they understand the guardrails.
Oh,
They understand where they're going, what they're doing. So, well, very good. So, okay. I know we're walking through. We're about to wrap up.
Yeah.
So, one of the questions, last one is, what is looking at or creating AI or working with AI? What is that? We've talked a lot about the negatives.
Yeah.
What does it look like in a good situation for companies, John?
Yeah. Brainstorming is always really hard to get started. We've had plenty. We've brought in the fidgets.
Yeah.
We brought in the
Fidget spinners.
Fidget spinners and bouncy balls and all that. We've tried that. The chemistry lab coats ones. I remember that.
I forgot. I still have the I love like the lab coats. We're gonna break those out again.
Try it's cool. Try different locations. You know what I mean? Different times of the day. There's so many things, we can only kind of Taco Bell this as much as we can. I always like, Taco Bell's meat, cheese, shell, cheese, meat, shell, cheese. It's there's not only so many things you can do to get brainstorming started. I love how AI helps us get through writer's block. And so it's interesting. I was helping my daughter with some math homework, and she is smarter than me, but she still wants my help somehow. And she said, "Dad, I don't want you to use your robot." And I said, "Well, I actually use 4 robots now." And I told her all the difference. She's like, "No, don't. I just need you to." I said, "Well, I'm not that smart." I said, "But let me just kind of like ask you some questions to help me kind of think through things." So took a picture of the homework to like kind of start working through it with her. And I was respecting her request to like, let's be humans. And what's interesting to me, it walked me through the full process of the academic appropriate way. I still did not understand it, but it like gave me a couple different angles that then all of a sudden I looked at the paper and I said, there it is. This is how we figure it out together. This, and this, and this. So it wasn't that it gave me the answer. We went and double checked that the answer was correct, but we worked through it. The idea of us solving this, I don't even remember what it was. Some sort of like, what's the area of this track inside of this line and all this. I was kind of just instigated, like inspired, like the pot was stirred. My brain was just started. All these random synapses were fired. And then I came up with the solution with my daughter. And so I think that the best case for AI is not that we just punch in, write me a song about this. oh, I wrote a song. It's like, no, it's going to be terrible. It's going to sound like all the other freaking AI songs out there. No, you can maybe say, hey, give me some like concepts around this topic that I want to kind of just sit with. And all of a sudden you're like, this is the line that matters.
Mm.
Same thing in business. It's like, hey, we're struggling with conversion. What are like top things that you'd start asking questions about on like ways we can improve conversion? You start looking through, thinking of your team and having a meeting, having questions and say, guys, here's the top 10 things we can start working through. And then all of a sudden those ideas are already flowing
Mhm.
because it kind of got through that writer's block. I love AI as an iterative tool. And I'd highly recommend using it as like, the spark. That's
Mhm.
what I'd say.
Yeah. I still love using a tool to help me get further faster,
Mm,
be more creative, and then have more relationships with people
yeah.
and to have those
I love that.
conversations. And that this is just another software, I'm going to say, that helps me accomplish those goals.
Mm,
And I think the business will continue to grow like that.
yeah.
The more and more I find the differentiator with organizations right now is that personal relationship touch, because we're the pendulum's going to continue to swing back to I want to be able to be connected. I want to be remembered.
Mm,
And I want to be able to, if I don't show up to work today, somebody says, well, where is Jimmy at today?
mm,
And these tools and these systems allow those things to start happening. And we should not be starting to think, really bad grammar there. We should stop thinking that this is a replacement. We should start thinking that this is an enhancement.
yeah.
And once we start figuring that out and knowing that when somebody starts raising their hand and they say, I know AI, you should first ask, do they know it from a personal standpoint and to help them as efficiently as an employee, or do they understand it as a process standpoint in order to help grow an organization?
Speed without clarity is dangerous. AI will amplify whatever is already inside your business, whether that is strength or if it's weakness. The leaders who win in this next season will be the ones who take the time to think clearly, plan intentionally, and build systems that are actually worth accelerating. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Dataliction Podcast. If you want help figuring out what's actually ready to scale inside of your organization, head over to dataliction.com and sign up for free to access our software, Adopt OS. You can take a self-serve audit, generate an AI policy, AI usage report for your whole team, and get immediate insight into where your team stands so you can move forward with confidence and clarity.